Hello, everybody. How are we? How's it going? It's Wednesday. We're live. Once again. Getting that consistency back in, baby. Maybe YouTube will like me again. How are we all? You guys good? Having a good week so far? I got inspired just before the stream began to build something. We're gonna build this. We're gonna build Marshall Ashfield and Squire Udo. Might as well get them built. Busy building a Sat9 Terminator. Oh, well, that'll keep you busy until the rest of the evening, Keith. Manu Gru, hey from Germany, hello. From the UK. Hello, Colonel. Martin Spoon, Jamie Devlin, Tattooed Zoologist, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? You having a lovely week? 10 years of Age of Sigmar. Only the faithful. I know. 10 years of Age of Sigmar. Can you believe it? It's absolutely crazy. I can't quite believe it. I can't quite believe it's been 10 years of Age of Sigmar. Which means it's been at least 9 years of me basically being returned to the hobby, basically. After a brief time off. It has been 10 years. But I can definitely... I always kind of... I definitely mark it by when General's Handbook 1 came out. Which was 2016. July 2016. Yeah, and I've been in for 9 years. Which is just remarkable, really. I can't quite believe it. And I've never looked back. Because I genuinely think it's possibly the best thing that Games Workshop makes. So tonight we're going to talk about it. Tonight we're going to talk about Age of Sigmar. We're going to hang out. We'll probably talk about other things. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people who will come in later and will demand that I paint things for them that aren't Age of Sigmar. Barely on my 3rd year of AOS. Oh, but it's the 3rd best year in the hobby, I'm sure, for you. First time in a while that I can see these live. Well, hello. Welcome back to the live fold. Good evening, Chris. Hello, Chris. And hello, other Chris. Sitting painting cities still. Yeah, I was thinking tonight I would maybe paint some Fusiliers. Or paint some Reclusians. And then I thought, do you know what? These guys, they don't want to see me do any more Stormcast. At least not for now. We'll do some more Stormcast inevitably at some point in the future. But for now, let's just not, because it'll derail my week, you see. Doing some Stormcast now. Whereas building Marshall Ashfield should be fine. It's not going to derail very much. But I do have a half-painted unit of Fusiliers that I need to shoot the other 6 of, basically, for the video, which I never did. It's the only Cities of Sigmar video we never managed to get out the door. Managed to do the rest of it. So maybe I'll do a video on them and this guy together. Maybe that'd be good. You are secretly painting Chaos Dwarves, right? I am not secretly painting Chaos Dwarves, I'm afraid. I would be mostly painting Ninja Turtles. Nice. My chair is descending. I don't know if you guys can see that, but my chair is descending. My chair is really, really bad now. What's fun is that this chair is 5 years old. Over 5 years old. Coming up on 5 years old, actually. Because we moved in here in November. Which is when we bought that chair. This chair has done me well. But it's probably getting close to that time when I should be thinking about buying a new chair. Currently painting a bad and wishing you would make a newer video. What's wrong with the old video? He is a model that sometimes I consider maybe revisiting, but at the same time that involves buying, building and painting another one. And I just don't have the time to do that, I'm afraid. You need another Abaddon. No, I don't. I don't need another Abaddon. Also, hello. As I've said many times before, I do not need these models in my house taking up space. Because that's all they'll do. Alright, here we go. We can finally get some glue on, hopefully. Woo! Glue! Yes. Right. And the first piece goes in. Oh, yeah. And we're off. We're off to the races. It begins. Hey! When will you get some more MESBG dwarfs on the channel? I don't know. Maybe 2028? 2027? Who could say? Boop, 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 boop. What's he building? He's building Marshall Ashfield and Squire Udo. Is what we're doing today. And we're talking about Age of Sigmar. Except the chat is not talking about Age of Sigmar. Everyone's talking about Middle-earth strategy battle games. So I'm just gonna let you guys get that out of your systems. And then we can talk about the cool thing. Deliberately antagonistic. Finally finished painting the command core and 2 great cannons. Nice. Nice. So I'm in a bit of a tricky position at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. The tricky position is that I absolutely adore Age of Sigmar. That's not a tricky position to be in, because I do love Age of Sigmar very, very much, and it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing that Games Workshop does. That's for sure. It has been for a long time, and mostly because I think my transition from being sort of more of a game-focused hobbyist to being a painting-focused hobbyist by nature of my job being painting miniatures. Because of that, Age of Sigmar was inevitably always where I was going to end up anyway. But a long time ago, I was encouraged to give it a go for an in-store event at at Tottenham Court Road. What just happened there? Is the stream okay? Did it just time out? It's just said I just dropped a load of frames. That's never good. Seems good to me. Okay. It was the stream kernel. It gave me, I got a yellow error message, and then I've dropped 6,245 frames, which is a lot of frames. It's 10% of frames so far have been dropped. So an entire 10% of this stream was hung. There we go. But yes, long time ago now. 9 years ago, I was encouraged to try Age of Sigmar. So I bought Mighty Battles in an Age of Unending War, the first core box. And I bought a Christmas box as well, for the Stormcast Eternals. That was my introduction. I went a bit mental and painted it all in about in about a week and a half. Those were the days. Don't have that such luxury now. It's because I got better at painting, you see, and I have to film it all, so that slows things down considerably. What did you guys... If you guys are into Age of Sigmar, what was your entry point into Age of Sigmar? in the last 10 years of this glorious range of miniatures in game. What was your entry point? What got your creativity flowing that brought you in? Because mine was undoubtedly it was the Stormcast Eternals. I just absolutely loved them. I really liked the idea of liberators and judicators, just ranks of archers stood behind a shield wall with dudes with hammers and shields. It was everything that I wanted from gaming, as it were. My starting point was the Dominion box. Since then, I'm on fire. Dominion was a great box. That was the full redesign, really. That was where we saw where Stormcast probably always should have been from the very beginning, but weren't. It's my understanding that the early concept drawings of Stormcast Eternals are of the Thunderstrike armor. But it was a bit more blocky, obviously, as it first started out. Old Stormcast, I like old style fat Pikachu. I love my old Stormcast though. I love that old silhouette. Like, there's parts of I'm very thankful for all of the new stuff that we've got. Honestly, like I love the new sculpts and the new stylistic direction of them. But I love the old sort of the older models. I love them just as much. £15 discounted Underworld starter set because I thought that was a cheap and simple painting project. Then, oops. Started with Underworld second time round, then Sylvaneth, and BOC started... start collecting boxes. There, they were great, the old start collecting. I miss the start collecting boxes. The old start... I preferred start collecting boxes, not only because they were an excellent deal, but also because it's just very obvious what it is. Combat Patrol and Spearhead is not obvious what they are. It is after a little bit, but it's assuming that there's some sort of... There's a little bit of assumed knowledge there. And I feel like a lot of people still refer to them as start collecting boxes, even though they're not. They are their own game system that has a launch pad into the bigger version of said game. It's like a Spearhead box is a start collecting box for insert faction, but a Spearhead box is a Spearhead box to play games with Spearhead with as well, which is great. And I love that that's a thing. But at the same time, there's some vocabulary and some naming conventions that it would be nice if something like the start collecting sort of came back, as it were. Some of them were really funny, the old start collecting boxes. My favourite one was the old Tau Empire one. Because you basically got everything in it for free. You were paying... The start collecting was £5 more expensive than a box of Crisis suits. And inside the box was a set of Crisis suits, an Ethereal, and some Fire Warriors. So it was like, well, the rest of it's basically free. And you wonder why they went away. It was the same thing, though, with, like, the Fire Slayers one. The Fire Slayers one was basically... everything in it was free apart from the Magma Droth, which is what you were paying for. Do you think Umbraneth will ever be a thing? I'm convinced they will. I walked into a Games Workshop to get MESBG and walked out with the Soul Wars box. Then more into 40k and came back to AOS since the absolute car crash of 9th edition, and now it's only the faithful. That's because you're a good lad. The other thing that's always fascinated me about Age of Sigmar, so much so, is that you wouldn't have 8th edition, 9th edition without Age of Sigmar. 8th edition was just a lift and shift from Age of Sigmar. That's all it was. There was almost functionally no difference. There was a couple of little tweaks here and there just because of the nature of the two differences in the game and like tradition dictated. So for example, like in Age of Sigmar you've never had to declare what the target of a charge was, whereas it's 40k you do for some reason. Even now when Overwatch isn't, if you're the target of a charge, you can overwatch. It's a bit strange to me, but there we go. Good evening, Yamel Langmar. Yeah, that just goes in like that. Oh, that's cool. So yeah. It wasn't really until I started this channel that I started to have the sheer breadth of Age of Sigmar collection that I have. Because I had an enormous Stormcast army, which I did sell. Because I had a much better one that was painted. So my old Anvils of the Heldenhammer, I sold them because they were just taking up space. And I'd painted a lot of miniatures in between, and so I was like, I'm just gonna sell these, and then I'll eventually replace all of it, which I basically have at this point. Essentially, the only thing I haven't replaced is the Celestant Prime and a couple of Dracothian Guard. I kind of want to do an Orc War Clan's Big Pig army, but I'm starting to get tired of GW's BS pricing and business practices, and the big pigs are 100 Canadian dollars each. They are. That's true. You don't need that many of them, to be fair, but I get that. That is a perfectly legitimate position to hold. Real talk, how do your AOS video stats compare to your 40k stats? Oh, terribly, Martin Spoon. They do not do very well at all. Sometimes they do okay, and sometimes they don't at all. But they consistently underperform what a 40k model does. And so, like, a bad 40k video, like a bad performing 40k video, is still better than a bad performing Age of Sigmar video. And then behind that as well is a bad performing MESBG video is even worse than that. I'm still waiting for a new model for the Celestant Prime. As am I. As am I. I would like to see it get redone. I don't know if it will. Because it's... As far as I know, Games Workshop hasn't sunsetted any centerpiece models. Like, because theoretically, right, when they decided to get rid of the Sacrosanct Chamber, the Star Drakes could have gone the same way. Because, you know, Krondys and Karazai exist, Stormdrake Guard exists, Taunus the Redeemed exists. So we've got lots and lots of big dragon models. So I was surprised that the Dracoths and the Stardrake and the Vanguard Chamber, to be fair, survived. Well, I was less surprised about the Vanguard Chamber because the Vanguard Chamber makes them a lot of money. Because everyone runs Vanguard Paladors and long strike crossbows. No more MESBG videos. I'll go cry. No, we see. No, look. Here's the thing, right? You guys are lucky that I'm a hobbyist before I'm a content creator. Which is why I'm really bad at being a content creator. Because I will always paint whatever comes my way or whatever's interesting to me. So, the smart thing to do as the painter is just to paint Space Marine chapters. That's the smart thing to do. Just paint endless Space Marines and do various different Space Marine oriented techniques. And then to also do videos based on how to paint 40k armies really quickly and simply so that you can play them at tournaments. That's the smart thing to do. That's the business thing to do. However, I don't want to do that. I want to paint a variety of stuff to support as many different people in their hobby journeys as possible. So that means that when Games Workshop sends me things like Helm Hammerhand, it gets a video. That's why there is a video Contrast Plus how to paint Lord Thorn and Frecker of the East March. Because those are never videos that are ever going to do particularly well on the platform. Because the pool of people looking up how to paint those videos is very small in comparison to the amount of people looking up how to paint Space Marines. And yet, we still do it. Because I care about you guys. That's the point. It has the flying horse thing. Oh yes, Aventus Firestrike. The Magister of Hammerhall. Yeah, I guess they have sunsetted a big centerpiece model then. He's there in my cabinet. I'm so glad I got to paint him. More bribery required. No, no bribery required. Time, space, and consistent growth. That's what we want here. FYI, if you ever do that, I am gone. Do what? Oh, what? Become a... Right. become a Space Marines only painting channel. Mini Painting Dad has been a member for 24 months, 10 years. I think the next model needs to be an AOS model, right? Maybe Talia Vedra? Well, she needs another model? She's already got a model. Are you looking forward to painting the new Chaos Dwarves? I am. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on them and seeing what the vibe is. I need to paint her. Oh, you do? Well, yes, you should. You should, Mini Painting Dad. I think you'll enjoy Talia Vedra. She's lovely. She's a lovely model. Alright, we've built Marshall Ashfield. Sick. I love your content. I got into the hobby about a year ago, but only recently discovered your painting style and videos, and they've been super helpful. Oh, you're very welcome, Gorgathor. Thank you very much for following. There are some who call me Tim, has been a member for 4 months. Huh? Pricey 4 months. Been a glorious 4 months, though. Think of all the models that you have been painting and getting built and ready for painting. What scheme for the dwarves, though? I kind of want to see classic red. Well, I don't know. I would have to look at all of the... Because they are, as of right now, a completely unknown faction to me. Because whilst they are Chaos Dwarfs, yes, there will be a book. And in that book, there will be a series of alternate paint schemes for them. So we'll have to see what's going on there. But we'll have to see what's going on with the Hellsmiths of Hashut. At a later date. Because they are currently still missing in action. Who knows where they are? We've only seen the preview now, and they've not been mentioned again. Tails has helped me massively. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad. That's what it's there for. It's a motivational tool. And it's a celebration, you know. Celebration of what you guys are up to. You know, you see what I'm up to every week. I don't paint nearly enough. It's so much easier to just buy more stuff. Oh, tell me about it. I used to think if I had 6 months off from making any content, that I would be able to clear my backlog and like film it all as I'm going, but like without doing any of the editing or any of the keeping up with any of the new releases or doing nothing, none of the stuff that Games Workshop sends out to me, if indeed they did continue to send things out to me. I did think once that 6 months it would probably all it would take for me to clear the backlog, and then we'd be back at it again with the new stuff. But more and more I'm starting to believe that that's not the case. I think it would probably take me at least a year, probably 18 months away from the channel to be able to do that. Who knows where they are, especially doesn't show what he's working on. I've shown me what I'm working on. This is what I'm working on. Ashfield. Squire Udo. That's what I'm working on. Nothing suspicious here at all. I clipped the wrong piece off. Well done, Josh. Good stuff. That's good work. We want 14. That's what I needed to clip off the first time. Asmodeus has been a member for 14 months. Time for a big thank you for your content. Love it. Oh, you're very welcome, Asmodeus. And a big thank you for 14 months. Over a year? Long-term membership side effect of Josh's channel is you will inevitably have a storm host at some point. That is true. That is true. Do you play any OS army, like at tournaments and stuff? Yes, I do. Gorgathor, thank you very much for becoming a member. You are our second new member of the week. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. That puts us on a mighty 2. I had it already before watching Josh's videos. Ah, but in the meantime, have you added the equivalent of another chamber? Because that's also what can happen. No, I certainly don't do that, Captain Mannerings. That would be madness. Who would do something like that? Surely not a fool. Like me. Oh no, I'm a fool! Someday I'll run my own. Someday I'll run my own AOS GT. Someday, when I have a big tax bill coming, and I want to set fire to a pile of money. You played the meta, and the meta played you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. To be fair, I didn't even really know what the meta was. I just took something that I thought was strong, and I feel like it was pretty strong. But again, just needed to face some infantry. Any infantry would have been nice. And also significantly less Rotigus. And black coaches. Lick that like button, people. That is a very, very good point there, Captain Mannerings. If everybody could please leave a like on the stream, that would be very, very kind of you. That is a free way to support the channel. Is by leaving a like on this very stream. Because the more people who like it, the more people who find it. And maybe they'll subscribe. Do you have a video of Contrast Plus on the different Lumineth colour schemes, like the Stormcast? I don't, Francisco. I'm very sorry. I haven't had the opportunity to do that. Asmodeus! With the 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. Thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. Thanks, buddy. Josh, I'm aware I could go look, but you're here, so do you have a death thingy guy on the rock with a knife tutorial for Mousy Boys? A Death Master? A Skaven Death Master, is that what you're after? Is that the one? Martin Spoon has upgraded his membership to Battle Hipster and has been a member for 15 months. Martin, that's very generous of you. Thank you very much. Skaven Knife Death Dude. Yeah. Yes, I do. I'll go grab the link for you. There you go, mate. first-class Googling service here for you. What is Sir Warhipster working on this evening? Currently I'm building Squire Marshall Ashfield and Squire Udo. I'll give you an update in a minute. Let me just... Can't even build a fun list with like 15 of them in. Is that actually a good list? Is there a reason why people are running it? Good evening, GameX. Good afternoon, Josh, and everyone. Thanks for all the kind words on this weekend's Tales. I was at Epic Universe, so missed this live stream. That's alright. That's alright. This is strictly too many components for 2 models, but there we go. Something to do with the Scourge of Gyron profiles. Well, there you go. Oh, I packed some steel helms from my army after a short hiatus. Feels good to come back to painting. What would be a unit you would like to paint for cities that isn't in the range yet? Well, I don't know. Because it's not in the range yet. You see what I mean? I don't like to guess at Age of Sigmar miniatures. Because the folks over at the Age of Sigmar design team are much better at designing cool stuff because I don't have the imagination for it. You know, it's not like 40k where you can sort of pretty much guess exactly what's coming for it down the pipe almost all of the time. With Age of Sigmar, it's a bit of like you just never know what it's going to be. Like, it's really difficult to predict, and I really like that about the game. Like, very occasionally you can be like, oh, I think it's going to be this and maybe it'll happen. But for Age of Sigmar, I have no idea and I wouldn't like to try. Because my imagination isn't going to be as good as what generally so far in Age of Sigmar they have been able to produce. If you see what I mean. The short answer is what are you hoping for from Age of Sigmar? Just more. More of all at all times, basically. Every time I start one, I'm like, squirrel, and start something else. You and me both, bud. You should start a YouTube channel, and then you can't squirrel. If you see what I mean. Boo, 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 doo, doo, boo, boo. Hello, Sir Strumming Fish. A cog fort. Yeah, if that's something they want to make. I'm enjoying the playlist tonight. I always enjoy this playlist when I put on the 80s pop music playlist. It's my favourite one that Epidemic Sound has. Which is where I get all of my music from, if anyone is interested. Bit late, how are you tonight? I'm very well. How are you? And also, you're not late, you're right on time for you. It's all great. Like button licked. Tastes like salt. You're welcome. I had that installed. As a feature. Before it just used to taste like cardboard. When you're assembling models, do you just listen to music or are you watching series/movies meanwhile when not live streaming like now? That's a good question. Usually I'm I just have stuff on in the background. It might be music, it might be films, it might be television. Quite a lot of the time I'm watching video game streamers stream their video games. It's probably the thing I probably watch the most of. Because I don't have to concentrate on it, you see. Because I'm such a busy bee. I don't want to watch stuff that I'm invested in, as it were. Because if I'm watching stuff that I'm invested in or interested in, I'm not building or working. So I can't like sit and watch, you know, a series that I'm really interested in. Unless it's just like a comedy or something and all you have to really do is listen to it. But yeah, quite often it's usually like Elden Ring streamers, or like some FPS streamers. Like I'll watch Stone Mountain 64 of an evening, or someone like Onic, watch him as well. Fixate, watch his streams as well. During the day, I might watch Stoddy. If I'm watching Soulsborne creators, I'll watch Bushy or Aggie, Lil Aggie. That's kind of the content I consume probably the most of. I think back before I had a YouTube channel and I was making content, I would watch a lot more Warhammer content, but now I don't really watch much Warhammer content at all because I don't want to oversaturate, because I do this all day every day, right? Before I used to have a job, so I would work, you know, 9 to 5:30, home at 7, have some dinner, and then I would paint until sort of maybe 1 o'clock in the morning at the worst. So during that time, I would consume a lot of like battle reports and stuff like that. But because I do this all day, if I'm doing Warhammer and listening to Warhammer at the same time, it's too much. It feels like you're getting a double dose of Warhammer. You're getting 24 hours worth of Warhammer in a 12-hour day. So then I'm like, no, I can't do it. So I don't generally tend to consume as much Warhammer content anymore. Because, you know, I've got to manage my... You know, you guys sometimes will ask me, how do I manage burnout? That's one way. Is by not being constantly dominated by it all the time. Every minute of the day. So it's like if I'm building miniatures and listening to an audiobook, it's like it's almost like Warhammer sensory overload. And if I do that 7 days in a week, because I do work 7 days a week, and I do like 14 hours probably of work a day, somewhere in that region. It's a lot to consume at once, if you see what I mean. What kind of job do you have that lets you paint miniatures without time hassle? Well, this is my job. I do this full time. Which is why, if you would like to support the channel and support my full-time job and my ability to continue making the content, hit the like button for free, or you can consider becoming a member of the channel. And that's my YouTuberly duties done. Don't you want to learn how to paint a Cathay Sky Lantern in 15 minutes with 3 paints from some random jerk? No? Fair. It's not that I don't want to learn that. It's that if somebody's telling me that whilst I'm building a Sky Lantern, it's too much. It's too much Sky Lanterning. I do have a plan, by the way, on the Cathay front for those interested. I can't tell you the plan at the moment because there's some other stuff that's kind of up in the air about it, but I do have a plan to get some more Cathay content done, and it will be reasonably sooner rather than later. So some stuff has moved around basically, which is really cool and exciting. I'm just weighing up whether it's better to do the Sky Lantern. You guys can answer this question. Whether it's better to do the Sky Lantern and that's it, or whether it's better to do the Shugengan Lord, the Jade Knights, and the Grand Cathay, the Grand Cannon. Because I suspect, because the Sky Lantern is the undertaking that it is, I suspect it's going to be a choice of either do 2 videos or 1, basically. So it's either get the Sky Lantern done, or get the Shugengan Lord and like the Cannon or something. I don't know. Maybe all 3, but that would depend on 4 days rather than 2, which I think is the maximum of what I've got. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud at the moment. Meh. There are some who call me Tim with a $200 super chat. I was asked to support. That is $1. Please ignore the other $199, which are a bribe. The others are not Sky Lantern War versus what? There's a bribe going on, is there? And Emma, welcome to your membership. Well, thank you very much for becoming a member. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Lord and artillery pieces. It makes sense, doesn't it? Paint the front rank and not backs of the models. I can't do that to myself. I just can't do it. I'd have to not have the spinny shot at the beginning, Captain Menrings. It would be the shortest spinny shot of all time. It would just be... done! Hey guys, it's how to make this... There we go. We have built Marshal Ashfield and Squire Udo. They are both done. Yay! Wow! Pachow! Check that out. Two very pretty little characters. These are the Warhammer Plus commemorative miniatures. It's going to be the case of I would make a video out of doing these, but not everyone will have them. So that's not a great idea. So maybe we'll do these and the Fusiliers at the same time. Or we'll find something to do with them to make it valuable, as it were. But they are now built, so I'm excited. I'm very happy. We've done some Age of Sigmar, which is great. You've saved me countless hours of trial and error for painting. Feel like a teeny membership is fair. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. But Tim, or not Tim, there are some who call you Tim. What should I call you? Friend. Did you cringe as well? Or was that just me? Thank you so much for $200. That's ridiculous. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I can call you Jack. Gotcha, Jack. Hey, Jack. Have you done any video on Old World High Elves? I have, Blethen. I've done the Illyrian Reavers. Contrast Plus, how to paint Illyrian Reavers. I did buy this as well to do at some point, because I love this old model. I love this guy, basically. So I bought this to do at some point, as and when I get a sec. So he's on my wish list of things to paint. What's that? Oh. That's a sorcerer. What I don't have and would love is the Steel Rook. I would also love the Steel Rook. And a friend of mine said he bought me one. But every time I've seen him, he's not had it. So I don't know if he did buy me one. There are multiple models that make it onto Warcom that don't have the backs painted. But all of mine do, Captain Mannerings. Considering getting a Cities of Sigmar army purely because I'm getting the Warhammer Plus minis and I'd like to use them. That is a good reason to do it. If you get this guy plus the Command Core, you have a really solid, cool set of miniatures. And then, if you also get the Saviors of Cinderfall, you'll have the prettiest set of like 14 to 15 models the world has ever seen. Like, just as a group, I think that's beautiful. I want to, at some point, I want to go to an event and take the Saviors of Cinderfall, the Black Talons, and a Command Core with this guy, and Squire Udo. And then, depending on what points are saying, try and fit in another couple of, like, very beautiful miniatures. The Saviors of Cinderfall, man, are just some of the nicest miniatures that they've ever made. Same for the old the Black Talons. Like, they might be my favorite unit of stuff. The Holy Relic can be seen. Take your hats off. That's a Holy Relic. You mean this guy, the High Elf Lord? He's not that holy. Well, I mean, he is. Why don't you marry him if you love him so much? You think I'm not married to all of my miniatures? I am married to all of them, apart from the ones I don't like. And there's none of them, because I love all the miniatures I paint. No, the Canon WD-40. Oh yeah, this guy. This guy here. The Canon WD-40. Yeah. I like that you all look at the can of WD-40, but no one comments on the stack of medals right there. Award-winning Warhipster over there. Evidence in the background. So subtle. Kataro with 50 euros. Hey Josh, I know it's a bit late, but this is my thank you for the Lord Croak vid you did. I loved it so much. I know you were a bit down about how good it did. I hope this helps you a bit. It helps me a lot, Kataro. That is very generous of you. Thank you so very much. I don't know what Lord Croak's doing at the moment. I haven't looked back at the I get really sad about videos that I put a lot of effort into and then nobody watches them, and that sort of stays with me for sort of 2-3 months, but then inevitably the bitter taste of that gets replaced with something else. Just the way it is. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's go for what are the top videos on the Warhipster channel as of right now. Still the #1 painting video that I have ever done that isn't how to use contrast paints properly or Speed Paint 2.0 Vallejo Express Color and Citadel Contrast Paint, which one is right for me. Excluding those two videos, my #1 painting video of all time with 102,292 views, for some reason, is Contrast Plus How to Paint Orc Commandos. I'll never be able to figure that one out, but it is that one. I have a 100,000 view painting video. My next one down, though, really makes me happy. My second most popular painting video of all time is Contrast Plus How to Paint New Saurus Warriors, with 86,534 views, which is not as 100,000, but it's still a very successful Age of Sigmar video, that one. So yeah, Orc Commandos, then New Saurus Warriors. And then we also have, in third place, is the Norn Emissary, for some strange reason. And I'm not sure why, but it is the Norn Emissary. And then it's Black Templars. And then it's High Fleet Leviathan Termagants. And then it's the How to Paint the New Demon Prince. And that is another Age of Sigmar video, because that is an Age of Sigmar Demon Prince. There. Then we have Demon Primarch of Nurgle, Pallid Hand Vectorium. Then... that's Mortarion. And then we have the Lion, L. Johnson, Primarch of the Dark Angels, the 40k version, not the 30k version. Then it's Be'lakor, another Age of Sigmar model. Then it's Deathwing Knights. Then it's Bloodletters. Then it's Angron. Then it's Typhus. Then it's Contrast Plus versus Classic Dark Angels. Then it's the Ultimate Contrast Plus Black Armor Guide. Then it's Contrast Plus How to Paint New Croxigor. Then it's the Ultimate Contrast Plus How to Paint Skaven Clan Rats, making it onto the top page. We have the Leviathan Screamer Killer. We have the Contrast Plus How to Paint Cruel Boys is there as well. That used to be riding so much higher, and now it's fallen behind a number of other things. Then it's Contrast Plus How to Paint Shadow Keepers, and then this is always surprising to me, but it makes me very, very happy, and there are some who call me Tim will really appreciate this, as will you, Thomas. The next one down is Contrast Plus How to Paint the Rohan Battle Host, now for Wrath, now for Ruin, and the Red Dawn. That is on the first page of my videos. That is in the top 30 of my videos, with 55,000 views altogether. What are you up to, chat? Captain Mannering says, member for 27 months. Justice for Bard's family. Love your face. No justice for Bard's family, ever. And then... further bribe. 300... Brother. What are you doing? Chat, if you're going to try and make me cry today, you can succeed pretty easily. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do Bard's family. Do something else when you do MESBG again. Don't worry, sir. I know your top list. It's Thranduil. It's Mirkwood. It's Glorfindel. I know the top list. They are at the top of my list as well. Especially if you're going to be dropping $300. I'm sponsoring. Yes. The horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep when his new model is released. It will. Maybe I'll even bust out my old trumpet for the video. You can watch me play the trumpet on a live stream. Big ups to the Saurus Warriors at second, though. Yeah, man. The Saurus Warriors being up there makes my heart very happy. It means that not all is lost, and especially like given as that Rohan is there as well, and Isengard is also in there as well in the top 30 videos. The battle host. Contrast plus how to paint Isengard battle host, painting an army worthy of Mordor to give it its full title. I didn't spend all that time coming up with a title to not give it its full title. With 53,458 views in number 28, in the 28th spot. Makes me very happy. It means that there is hope for such things. There never was much hope, just a fool's hope. And to this day, it still makes me happy that Mephiston is in the top 30 as well. Mephiston was the video that started it all, really, for me. Some deep Warhipster lore, if you don't know already. The oldest video on the channel, the very first one that we ever did, was Contrast plus how to paint neophyte hybrids. Then we did Blood Angels suppressors. Then we did Nuclear Wasteland bases, because I thought I was, a big cheese already. Then I did Cypher Lords. Then the Iron Golem for 2 Warcry warbands. Then it was Gene Stealers. But that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos between July 12th, 2019 to November 30th, 2019. So in July, August, September, October, November, in 5 months we did 6 videos, which is a very long time ago now. But I then did Mephiston in mid-December, really quickly as well. I had that video out almost instantaneously, because it arrived and I was like, build, paint, build, prime, paint, off we go. And that video just took off. And it was then that I knew that I could possibly do this. And things got formalized a little bit to where we then went to 2 a week from, I think it was like March onwards, something like that. Yeah. Mephiston did a lot for the channel. Will we get the Blood Crushers of Khorne one day? Someday you will, yeah. I've got 3 of them. Eventually we'll get them. Eventually we'll get to them. He's got a horn on his You're talking about... No, I genuinely have a trumpet. I used to be a trumpet player. A long time ago. Long time ago. There's no euphemism here at all. I used to play the trumpet. From the age of about 8 to... Well, I guess till now. I haven't played it in a very long time, though. I still remember it all, though. You never forget something like that. You never forget how to do your trumpet scales once you've been taught how to do your trumpet scales and it's been drilled into you. Oh. I wish I had that kind of money to bribe Warhipster with, because you don't have to bribe me. Are you needing to stroke your sword on stream again? No, not yet. I'll do that later on the Only Hands. Got to do Blood Crushers. It will get views from both AOS and 40k. Oh, will it? Or will no one watch it? Oh, R.I.P. Iron Golems. I know what you mean. I've had Fellowship on a playlist by itself on repeat on my personal PC since it dropped. It's only like 14 views a day, but it's watch time. It is watch time. It's very generous of you. Thank you. Should we see how the video's doing? I haven't actually looked in a little while. It is currently on 3.2 thousand views. Date. It is on 3.2 thousand views. It has netted me 4 new subscribers. And from those 3 days of work to build, paint and prime and edit, for 4 days really with the edit as well, I've made myself a cool £23.67. I know, I can hear all your jealousy out there. What do you think of the MESBG book that was shown with Helm? I don't know anything about it because I haven't got it, so I don't know. I sent you more than that to sponsor that video. I meant in ad revenue. Ad revenue there, Tim. Or Jack. It's been really nice seeing the AOS interest grow in recent years, and I've seen firsthand your painting tutorials easing the point of entry for it. Good. I swear I'm going to get a special sponsor call out someday on MESBG videos. Yeah, you will. Especially for when we come to do Thranduil. Is it possible 50% of the Saurus warriors was me alone when I was painting the spearhead? It could have been, Steelo. That's me on the Termagants. Thanks, guys. I'm excited for this week for Votann. Yeah? I've got a bit of a bop. You'll need to tell me what you want me to call you out for. Like what name to use for the Thranduil video. And the Mirkwood video when we get around to it. What's your favourite skin recipe for Crypt Guard? Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. I really, really liked Morgorn. I really enjoyed because it was really quick. Blister Skin I thought was one of the coolest ones, but it takes a while to do because it's just got that little bit of extra work involved. Gristlegore, I like the blue, but again you've got to paint in the kind of the red markings. And then the other one, what am I thinking? Hollowmorn. The green I like, but it's probably my least favourite Hollowmorn, I reckon. Morgaunt is probably my favourite, because it is the quickest. Yeah. It is, yeah. I'd say it's probably the quickest one. Speaking of Votann, where you do the bikers that come in the army box. Oh, here's the thing, Katara. I really don't like those models. Nearly, thank you very much for being a member for 14 months. That's very kind of you, thank you. Thranduil's bound to get a plastic remake eventually. So this is the thing, as I think as I try and incorporate more and more MESBG into the content lineup and the content schedule, what I suspect will happen is you'll start to see more plastic remakes of things I've already done, because that's just what seems to happen, especially like with Space Marines, for example. Like, we've done Vulcan Histan, and lo and behold, he has a new plastic model. We've done Lysander, and lo and behold, he has a new plastic model. Farsight, same thing happened. Commander Dante, the Sanguinor, Lamar, these things all happened. You know, I did them, and then a new plastic model appeared. So if we can tempt a bit of fate out with some MESBG models, that's not the end. That's not the worst thing in the world to happen. You know, now that we've done the Fellowship, maybe we'll see a new plastic Fellowship in the future. That would be awesome. I will have to paint it again, and it will be eons more difficult, and it will be significantly harder to build, but at least it will finally happen. You see what I mean? You know, I'm willing to make that sacrifice for all of you, you see? I've been using Girly Man Flesh for skin for most of my guys, but do you have any suggestions for other paints to get some skin tone variety? That is a good question. I have a video which is called 10... It's Chaos Cultist video. Which is called 10 Contrast Plus Skin Recipes and How to Paint Chaos Cultists, which I will share now. Copy video link. I'll pop it in here. However, one very quick way to get some cool variation over the top of Guilliman Flesh is you've got a couple of shades at your disposal, right? You've got Reichland Flesh Shade, that will bring it down a little further tone, and you've got Berserker Blood Shade, which will make it very pink. Same for Caribou Crimson, but Caribou Crimson, they both work over the top of Guilliman Flesh. What will generally happen is if you do Guilliman Flesh and then Caribou Crimson or Berserker Bloodshade over the top, is it will actually come closer to Bugman's Glow, which is very, very pink. Naturally, there's two other Contrast Plus. There's two other contrast paints that are also flesh specific, in that you've got Fireslayer Flesh, which has got a lot more orange to it, and you've got Dark Oath Flesh, which has got a lot more brown to it, but not that much. They're still very much like Reader's white skin, basically. So the other things I would recommend for a black skin tone is Cygor Brown. If you thin it down just a little bit, so like 2:1 Cygor Brown Lamia Medium, or even 1:1 Cygor Brown Lamia Medium, creates a really nice black skin tone. Wildwood can also work, and Garagak Sewer can also work as well. Otherwise, using things like the actual base and layer paint, so Catachan Flesh Tone is really good, Blood Reaver Flesh is very good, Nightquester Flesh is also very good. They're all very, very nice paints to use, and just using them and then shading it with Reichland Flesh Shade works a treat as well, as more alternative skin tones. But yeah, that video, there's 10 in there, and we'll continue to use even more different ones as we go forward. So I like to put that variation in, it's good. What about an Asian skin tone for Cathay? So I opted for Dark Oath Flesh for my Cathay miniatures. Reichland Flesh Shade just on its own can also work as well. It makes it very, very, very pale, but Reichland Flesh Shade can also work. YouTube ate my super chat and won't let me send another. Oh no! Prime, I'm very sorry. What did you want to say in your super chat? you shouldn't lose the money if you sent a super chat and it's not turned up or whatever. YouTube generally will refund it back to you. Everybody. Oh no, clicked on the wrong thing. That's what I wanted. Let's see if it's time. Is it that time of the... Let's see if we can. Yay! Let's do this. Pow! See if we can snipe some grey names. Ooh. Pachoo! There it is, New Dot Prime. Is the Soul Grinder better in AOS or 40k? That's a very good question that I don't actually necessarily know the answer to. Let me just... Is it still in Age of Sigmar? I don't think it is. Hold on. I thought it came out of the Slaves to Darkness book. We can find out very easily. Because that would be a really easy answer to the question, and then it's better in 40k because it still exists. It would be a war machine, wouldn't it? No, it is. Oh yeah, no, it did. It's a Legends now. The Soul Grinder is Legends. So the answer is the Soul Grinder is better in 40k because it's still relevant. I may just be colourblind, but after painting one of my minis with Dark Oath and another with Gilliman Flesh, I could not tell the difference. Yeah, so that's the thing. The three of them look very, very similar initially. It depends on what you're painting with them. If it's just a face, they can generally start to look a bit similar. Fire Slayer Flesh is the only one that looks very different to the two. But what Dark Oath Flesh has is less... I guess less pink. It's got more brown. It's very subtle. If you use a little bit less, as who the heck is Jack says, if you use just a little bit less, you'll notice it a lot. Is it a Legends unit now? It is a Legends unit now. So, yeah. I mean, Legends are still relevant, but some people pick up a strange allergy to legended models. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I need to paint my Sacrosanct Chamber, who are down here. I also have this model to do, but it's all been in Legends, so it's like, oh, when do I do this? You know? So, for example, I have this gorgeous, gorgeous model, which I really want to do at some point, but I have to find the time to do it. This is Astrea Soulbright. I love this model, hence why it sits on my shelf just there as like a, eventually I'll do this. It needs a dusting, that's why it's been out for a while. Hello, Dan. So yeah, this is Astrea Soulbright. And I love this model. It was one of my favourite from the Sacrosanct Chamber. But it's one of those ones where it's like, you know, when does one make a video about how to paint this? Because when is it ever relevant? Needs a good dusting though. There we go. Now, if anybody read the recent What was it called? Was it... No, it wasn't Broken Realms. Dawnbringers. Dawnbringers Usharan. That series. If anyone read that book, you'll know what happened to this particular individual. Yeah, love this model. So eventually I'll do this one. But yeah. That's pretty cool. What's that? Stormcast. It is indeed. It is, yeah. It is indeed Stormcast. But yeah, it lives here on my shelf. Did Midas touch him? No, he's a... She is a push fit model that was in gold plastic. Have you got any videos or anything on beast snaggers? I have a lot of them to paint. No, but I do have some to do, so eventually I'll do them, Swennels. I do have a stream where I painted one, but I'd probably change that recipe a little bit now. What we do have is a lot of things like Cruel Boys and stuff like that. Those videos will help with painting beast snaggers. There's a lot of Cruel Boys videos. It would be very nice to have a video on her. It could help me a lot with my evocators on Dracolines. Yeah, they're the only kit I don't have from the Sacrosanct Chamber. So what I have is I basically have the entire contents of Soul Wars, plus the Lord Exorcist, and some other bits. Yeah. Yeah, so I've got the entire... I've got the Lord Arcanum on foot that comes with Aventus Firestrike if you build him as Aventus Firestrike. So I've got that. And I've got the Domitan Storm Coven as well, which is, you know, that's not been Legends. So you can still use that one. With the Snaggers, I don't know how to do the white armor panels. Games Workshop. Beast Snagger. Boys. My instinct on how to paint those is to all over wash them with Agrax Earthshade. Over the top of a Wraithbone primer because they're orcs. So prime them Wraithbone, all over shade the white with Agrax Earthshade, then relayer the white with Corax White. What you can then do is dry brush it, not with White Scar, but dry brush it, and I would say Rhinox Hide, but do it inconsistently, because what they've done with the white on the Beast Snagger boys is the same thing they've done with the white on the Tau Empire. And if ever you look at Tau, and you look at the Viola Sept, look at the way that they've painted it. They've not really edge highlighted the white. What they've done is they've battle damage highlighted all of the white. So it's either brown or it's black battle damage that's on all of the edges on Viola Tau Sept stuff. So that is how I would recommend painting the white, is you inconsistently dry brush it, not every single edge and not fully, with a brown. Either Rhinox Hide or Dryad Bark would be how I would do it. I have basically the whole Stormbringer magazine stuff still in the basement. I think that should be at least two complete armies to build. Sounds right. Corax White. What did I say? Have you got any tips for figuring out what colour to use as a highlight / dry brush? Just covered a Skaven Bell in Wildwood and not sure where to go from there. Yeah. The best tip I can give you is ask yourself what temperature you want it to be. Do you want it to be hot or do you want it to be cold? The reason being is that will tell you what type of paint or what kind of timbre of paint to use. So if you want if you think of like warm colours like yellow and red and orange, these are all warm colours. And then you think of cold colours, which can be, you know, stuff like blue and green, stuff like that. Anyway, the reason I say all of this is depending on the vibe you want the thing to have, it depends on the highlight colour that you want to use, essentially. And especially if you're making it up yourself. If you're going along with what Games Workshop is doing on their product photography, the thing to do is generally look at the edges and it will tell you whether it's a cold or a warm highlight. But as an example, when you look at like some of the black armor and stuff that Games Workshop paints, when they want it to be cold and unforgiving, and like, or you know, just industrial or you know, mechanical kind of black details, like the casing of a bolt gun, for example, they will use grey to highlight it, and it will be cold grey, so it will be Eshin grey, Dawnstone, Administratum, that kind of thing. If they want it to be like a clean blue sheen, as it were, they will use Dark Reaper, Thunderhawk Blue, Rust Grey, Fenrisian Grey to do it. Now the same thing kind of goes for the brown. If they want a nice warm brown, what they will do is they'll use something like Scrag Brown to highlight a dark brown, and what that will do is it starts to move it towards like a warm brown. If they want to do a cold brown, they will generally veer more towards Karak Stone, because Karak Stone is quite cold paint anyway, right? So generally it's about judging temperature, and that's how you judge which primer and which highlight to use, basically, is the long, boring, drawn-out answer to that question. Like, so you, like, because you see this, like, for example, in the reds that they do. Quite often, if you look at the sharpest corners in red, if it's orange, then it means that they've gone for Fire Dragon Bright, usually. If it's not that, if it's like pink in the main highlight, then it means that it's probably going to be Cadian Flesh Tone at the highest point, and that the highlight colour is probably Wazdaka Red, or at least that's how I would recommend it, basically. Have they announced? You guys are talking about the magazines. Have they announced what the next magazine is going to be? Surely there's another one of those on the way. A little terrain painter's trick, or army painter's trick from the army painting team from Games Workshop. The best paint to highlight everything with, if you're in a rush, is to dry brush the whole model at the end with Screaming Skull. Because Screaming Skull is a bright bone color, so it either acts cold or warm depending on what you're dry brushing it over, but it acts as a unifier. It does make models look a little bit dusty and worn if you go too heavy, but pretty much all terrain that you see in the background of any of their pictures of models in like battle tomes and stuff like that, whenever you see that, guarantee you all of that terrain has been dry brushed with Screaming Skull. So generally you can get away with, at the end, if you just really don't know what you want to do, just dry brush the whole model with Screaming Skull. Gently, but just, yeah. They're doing the 40k Combat Patrol magazine right now. Right, okay. I see. More than one thing got delivered today. Indeed. Indeed. I'm going to be doing... I've got some ideas. I've got some really cool ideas. I had a really good thinking session earlier. About an hour's of... I was halfway through doing some highlights on something, and I was like, just shut my brain off and just sat being creative in my own mind. I've got some really cool ideas and some content to make, which I will not talk about right now, but we shall see. I do need to... I'm going to set a reminder for myself, actually, for something I need to do tomorrow. I'll talk about that later. But yeah. No, I'm pretty pleased. Pretty pleased. So I was thinking about... doing... Earlier on, I was thinking about... Ooh, maybe I should do some more work on my Flesh Eater Courts, basically. This is one thing I was thinking. And then I was thinking about doing, like, just dry brush only ghouls. That was one thing I was thinking about doing, which I can talk about. But we'll see. That's why that popped into my head, because you're talking about dry brushing with Screaming Skull. I use that dry brush trick on most of my terrain. It blends it nicely together, and it doesn't make it take too much attention from the miniatures. Strong. I like it. I'm glad you're happy. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There is a spectacular Rohan video that will happen. I'm trying to figure out what's the... ...179 minutes. Yeah. 179 minutes is the runtime of the Two Towers. Because I do have an Isengard army I need to finish as well. When was the 1 year of hobby unhappiness? It was before I got into Age of Sigmar. And I think a lot of people who are fans of Warhammer Fantasy would say the same thing. I think Age of Sigmar, when it launched, it didn't launch with a way to play the game properly. Not really. At least not in a way that you could have a fair and balanced time with a stranger. You'd have to have a really close-knit group of people in order to really enjoy Age of Sigmar. because the only balancing mechanics that were in there in terms of putting together your army was to use either a wounds limit or use power level. But of course, as we know, if you use a wounds limit, there's a difference between saying we're going to have 100 wounds each. There's a difference between 100 one-wound skeletons and somebody who takes 20 Morghast, for example. So there's very, very, very different levels of power that are going on there. Part of the guidance at the beginning was, hey, just take your collections and just play Warhammer with each other. And it's like, yeah, but somebody who's new has the core set versus somebody who has an enormous Empire army from yesteryear. Again, it's very different, very different matchup. So Good General's Handbook 1 came out in 2016, and that's when they brought points in. And that just, for me, from then on, Age of Sigmar just took off. Mostly because that's when I started getting involved. But yeah, in the year before that, I was doing nothing but 40k. So I was playing lots of old Kill Team. Which I don't know if anybody else has that book, but I think I still have that book somewhere. The old version of Kill Team, the last Kill Team book that came out in 7th edition, it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I was playing lots of that, and I was playing, I was painting lots of Ultramarines and lots of Tau as well, because I just had all these old models from older collections that I was just finishing them off, basically. Which was cool, but it was like, eh. And then I was in Tottenham Court Road one day, and they were like, hey, have you tried Age of Sigmar? And I was like, no. And I was like, do you want to try it? And I was like, yeah, why not? And I just had the funnest game I'd ever had, because I'd gone from playing 7th edition 40k to Age of Sigmar, and I was like, sign me up. So I immediately bought Mighty Battles in an Age of Unending War to give it its full title, which is the first Age of Sigmar core box. So yeah, there was a year of unhappiness. When will you paint more Caradron? I don't know. I don't know when I will paint more Caradron. I need to buy the Battle Tome. But it's not at the top of my priorities list at the moment. I had an idea to do a Baraknar regiment, basically. I think for that I need to do 5 or 10 Grunstock Thunderers, which I have, and I need to paint 2 Grunstock Gun Haulers, which I also have, but I don't have the time at the moment to do them. But yeah, Caradron are one of my they're kind of one of my slow grows, as it were. One of my slow grow lists. I have a question about AOS. Can you play only demons from all the 4 Chaos factions like you can in 40k, or no? Yes, there is a way. You can do Bellacor's Shadow Legion, I think. It's like it is in 40k. It's a narrower selection. What you have, though, that's different to 40k is you have a way to, in each of the God Legion books, you can take all demons. So if you've got a vast amount of Khorne demons, you're not restricted to 1,000 points. You can do 2,000 points of demons, and there will be a regiment or a battle formation, whatever it's called, that will support doing that, and it'll be the same in all 4 books. So Maggotkin, Disciples, and Maggotkin, Disciples, Hedonites, and Blades. Yeah, so all of them you can do full armies of demons, and it's not a problem. You're not restricted in that sense. Some things might go, some things might not. I don't know. I haven't got the Blades of Khorne battle tome, so I don't know what's come out of that, other than the Lord on Juggernaut. I'm pretty certain he's not in there. But what we don't know as well is that I think, again, somebody who does have the Blades of Khorne battle tome can correct me if I'm wrong, the Blades of Khorne battle tome does have a Regiment of Renown, which is just Scarbrand, I think. Did you ever think of making a spearhead painting video in the style of tackling the backlog at all models at once? Yes. Lord on Juggernaut is gone. I think it is gone, yeah. I'm not 100% on that. But yes, Asmodeus, I think that's probably the better way of doing those videos, rather than doing like 3 to 4 videos out of the one. It's to do just one video, Spearhead, how to paint Head Knights of Slaanesh Spearhead. But of course, that's a lot of models to do for one model video. So it's like, if I've got a spare week, I'll do one. But at the moment, I don't have any spare weeks, which is tough. Time for bed. Well, good night, Emma. Thanks for stopping by. And thank you very much for becoming a member. It's very kind of you. Can I throw money at you to make it go faster? As of Article 76, Amendment 12.2, footnote B of the Caradron Code, a bribe will be allowed. What do you want to see from the Caradron Overlords? Because I think based on the videos we've already done for Caradron, that would be enough to do both Mornar and Barak Nar on everything, really. I will not be outbribed. I'm not accepting bribes. I just want to know what it is. How do you normally clean your models once you cut them from the sprue? Like, how do you remove sprue pieces still stuck on it? I use a hobby knife. I use this hobby knife. And what I do is I use the sharp side to clear off the large pieces, and then I use the back of it to clear off the mold lines. Because it means I don't have to swap between tools. I don't have to down tools and do another tool, basically. So I use a hobby knife to do it, basically. I'll show you what I mean. I have a spare Terminator arm here, I think. Yes. Here you go. So here is my Terminator arm that holds the Storm Bolter. As you can see, we've got a bit of flash here and a bit of flash there. So I use the sharp side of the knife, which is this side, to just shave off those large bits, and then I use the back of the hobby knife. Just move it down. Like so. Like that. There we go. And that is one smoothed out Terminator arm. More skyports and heroes. Well, I need to finish off regiments first. My plan My plan with the Caradron Overlords is to do it a regiment at a time, basically. And so far, for my Barrack Nar one, we have a Null Chemist, 5 Von Grimm Harpoon crew, and the Zontari Endron Dock. So that needs to be significantly built out. So if I'm going to do another Caradron video, it won't be for a while, but it will be at some point. I'll do Grundstock Thunderers and a Grundstock Gun Hauler to go in that regiment, and then it will be done. And then I might do another Skyport at some point. But the time for Caradron hath passed for now. So again, like, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but we'll get there eventually. I also have a plan to hide a small Bluetooth speaker in an Endrin rigger so it can play steampunk as it travels across the battlefield. I have to be a very, very tiny, Bluetooth speaker. Josh is doing building tutorial vids. You don't want those from me. I'm really bad at building. Firstly, get over the rage. Secondly, succumb to the rage. Thirdly, realise the rage was a bad idea because now you've broken it. The fourth step is to buy another model. Try again because now the rage has passed. Realise the rage has not passed. Repeat steps 1 to 3. Hello, Mr. Gwatkin. How are you doing? Arcanaut. Ah, yes. The Ironclad. Or the Frigate. I do have an Ironclad to build and paint as well at some point. I kind of want to... I had an idea to do an Arcanaut Ironclad, but do it kind of like the Black Pearl. Just have it be this sort of burnt ghost ship. What's been your favourite AOS model over the last 10 years? This will be, better yet, 1 per year. Ooh, top 10. All right, I'll do this, and then we'll wrap things up. It's fairly simple to do. In no particular order, my top 10 favourite AOS models of all time are Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. Because of course. We have Krondys / Karazai. We'll put them together because they are a dual kit. We have the Stormdrake Guard. They also go in there. Bastion Carthalos also goes in there. But don't worry, it's not all Stormcast Eternals. The next ones down are Usharan, Mortarch of Delusion. I absolutely adore that model. I think it's fantastic. If I haven't already said it, Kragnos. Kragnos goes in there. Because I really like the Kragnos model. I really, 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 really love the Kragnos model. And it's a shame you don't see it very often. But, you know, it is what it is. Alarielle the Everqueen. I haven't painted Alarielle, but I have built her and I've primed her. She's in there. Because of course she is. It's a beautiful model. She's built and primed, ready to go. Just, you know, time. Who else? Let me look at my cabinet. I've already got enough Stormcast Eternals in there. Marathi. Marathi goes in there because it's a beautiful model. Beautiful model indeed. Oh, Vizek Scour. Vizek Scour I think would probably go in there as well. And I do really like Teclis. But I could cheat and put Be'lakor in there as well. Because he is an Age of Sigmar model. But I probably shouldn't cheat and put him in. I mean, it's difficult. Like, I could just list all of the Stormcast Turtles models that have ever happened. Because, you know, the Black Talons and the Cities of Saviors of Cinderfall deserve top 10 billing, but they're not models, they're units. There's like 5 to 6 of them per box. Because I love the Quest of Soulsworn. I think they're amazing. I think most Underworld's warbands are exceptional. Just very, 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 very pretty. Like, I really like the Brethren of the Bolt. You know, they were fantastic. Talia Vedra, Pontifex Zenestra. Incredible models. Yeah, the list goes on. And it's only going to get worse, because there's another 10 years now. We're now into the next decade. Going to 20 years of Age of Sigmar. Can you imagine it? I will be 45 when that happens. And I'll still be doing this. Mondays and Wednesdays. Let's go, baby. Ionis Cryptbomb. Ionis Cryptbomb is a very, very pretty model. I really, really like that model. Same for Iradan the Witness. The two spectacular, gorgeous models. Belthanos, First Thorn of Kurnoth. Again, another example of a cracking model. Do they make it into my top 10? I don't know. Like the Lord Celestant on Stardrake. Beautiful model. Does it make it into my top 10? Not sure. Yndrasta? Not sure. What are you painting at the moment? If I told you that, I'd have to kill you. At the moment, what I'm getting ready for is to hang up the phone. Is to say goodbye to this live stream, because it is now 23 minutes to 11. Are you born in 1990? Yes, I was born in September 1990. My birthday is coming up. One year older than me. Virgos unite. I think. Hang on. I do fall into being a Libra by 2 days. Unfortunately. Though I give off serious Virgo energy, right? Do you know what I mean? Everyone's always gone, yeah, definitely a Virgo. And I've always thought, yeah. I think just by dint of being late, I'm accidentally supposed to be. You do give off Virgo energy. Thank you, Dan. See what I mean? There we go. It's all good, Josh. In 20 years, I plan to scare all the old folks by yelling for the Emperor at the retirement home. Oh, so here for that. I'll come visit you in the retirement home. And I'll stand at one end. And I'll yell at you saying, who shall be victorious? And you shall shout at me. Only the faithful, of course. I can't hear you say it, but, you know. At least not loud enough from here. You're all the way in the States, which is unfortunate, because I'm all the way over here in the UK. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. This has been a really fun stream. 10 years of Age of Sigmar, can you believe it? I've really enjoyed myself. I hope you've really enjoyed yourself and found it entertaining, just hanging out and chatting with me tonight as we talk about things. You know, all that good stuff. Fantastic stream. You guys are amazing. We will be back tomorrow with a painting video. Contrast Plus, how to paint Blood Ravens. Ooh. Blood Ravens tomorrow. Exciting, right? And then, yeah, there's some more content coming. You have to wait and see what that is, though. You won't have to wait long, though. It's only Wednesday. So, yeah, I will see you all tomorrow for the Contrast Plus how to paint Blood Ravens, if you're interested in such a thing. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Hand of farewell. Farewell, you lovely, beautiful people. See you later.